oh shit. Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out a bit.
Hey, after you drop off the kids or put them to bed, turn on Childish with real-life friends
and podcasting virtuosos
Greg Fitzsimmons
and Alison Rosen.
Laugh about the struggles and joys of parenthood.
Grow closer to your children.
Learn something useful or not.
Maybe feel less alone.
And maybe even put the spark back into your love life. Childish is for people who are parents or had parents. If you had no parents, maybe check out WTF with Mark Maron.
Subscribe to Childish. New episodes coming soon wherever you listen to podcasts.
Childish, oh shit. Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out a bit. Childish, oh shit. How can I parent when I'm still a kid?
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my new temporary studios with Mark Norman.
Hey.
Am I pronouncing your name right? I know that I asked you.
Oh, yeah.
It's pronounced
Norman.
like Norman.
Yeah,
but it's
with a
just got a
D.
D tacked on the
It's
end.
French, so it's normal. But I'm not that big of a douche, so I just, Norman.
Does anyone in your family say Normand?
No, we don't have any self-esteem, and we're not that pretentious.
All right.
It's a French name originally.
I think it's cool.
That's weird.
You've got that extra D in case someone
you
needs
need some
it.
D.
Yeah, exactly. So you are a comedian who's been on my show before.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved talking to you before, and we will get into all of that. But first, I need to say, you are the co-host of the podcast Tuesdays with Stories.
You got that
You guys
right.
just did a sold-out... You're from New York. You are in town, and we'll
Yes.
also... I mean, you're not from New York. You're
Right.
from New Orleans.
But I live in New York
You live
now.
in New York. And you will find out why you're out here. But you just did a live Tuesdays with Stories with the guest Bert Kreischer,
Yep.
who was just on my podcast. He's great. You
yeah.
sold out the Improv.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Fun
Congrats.
times.
Also, you did this special Amy Schumer presents Mark Norman, Don't Be Yourself. There's
There you
a lot
go.
of names in there.
Yeah.
You opened for Amy Schumer.
Uh-huh.
And you fly on a private jet with her. I know we
Yep.
talked about that last time.
Yeah.
And also, you have the album Still Got It.
Uh-huh.
And throw out your Twitter handle so that people can tweet at you while they listen.
All right. It's at Mark Norm and Instagram at Mark Normand.
AND.
You got that right.
NORMA. And Instagram at Mark Normand. And I am at Alison Rosen on Twitter and at Alison Rosen on Instagram. Okay, so I loved talking with you when you were last on, and it was in April of 2017. You're very introspective, very funny, deep,
Wow. Jeez.
kind of a misanthrope.
Man.
Do you think?
I'll take it.
A misanthrope? You want that? That means you hate people.
A little. I mean, love, hate. You got to hate people a little just to... If you think about people enough, you'll hate them.
That's true. But what I remember, you said something that was so interesting that I'd never really thought of, and it pops into my head from time to time, which is that the reason, like, there are the reasons that a woman is attracted to you. Then you get into a relationship with her, and she kind of like tames your oomph.
Yes.
And then eventually leaves you for like this rugged, manly, assertive man.
Yes.
Like she turns you into someone that she's no longer attracted to.
Right, exactly.
And it just put this pit into my soul of like, oh, fuck. That's so true.
Sure. I mean,
There's something so true about that because and the example I brought up last time, which is so true, is like, sometimes my husband will say things and I'm like, I don't think I like your tone. You know what I mean? Like everything's all about making things super copacetic between us, which is kind of the opposite of the term you used, which is like a hunter-gatherer man.
Right. Yeah, I think there's something to it. And I was in a 12-year relationship, so I just got beaten down into like this sad, silly putty of a guy where I would just go, whatever you want. I wouldn't make eye contact.
Right.
We'll just do it your way, keep you happy. Guys just don't want to get an annoyed girlfriend is the scariest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
It just ruins the day, like, hey, how are you? Fine. Come on. And I think growing up, not to get all men and women are different here, but I think growing up with guys, you go, come on, you weirdo, snap out of it or get to it. And you can just call it out and then make it better. But I feel like
you mean if growing up with guys, like if a guy's in a bad mood, in a funk or something,
and you can go, why are you in a bad mood? Then you try to fix it. Guys try to fix everything. But I think with women, they're more complex and more nuanced. So this thing could actually trigger that, which bothers this thing she's actually been thinking about for years. So there's more there.
Yeah. I think that my husband is afraid of upsetting me all the time.
Yes,
and especially I'm pregnant right now. Especially when I'm pregnant, because I think that first of all, I'm more like emotional when I'm pregnant and hormonal. And I think that whole constellation of emotionality and hormones, and I don't want to upset her, and she's pregnant and she's going through this thing for us, which, that shaves the oomph off of someone.
Right.
If he's not walking on eggshells around me, but he definitely like doesn't want to set me off.
Yeah. And my thing is, this sounds horrible, but like, when I start feeling that from a significant other, I just want to avoid, because my whole thing is like, all right, I'll just get out of here I'll just go, and I get to go on the road, so I'm like, oh, thank God, I get to stay in a hotel for 3 days, which sounds terrible, but it's how it is.
But I mean, sometimes we'll have things where when I feel like maybe he is walking on eggshells around me, it bothers me because I feel like he's not being authentic and he's not being himself. And it's like, I'm still a person. Talk to me.
Sure.
Like, I understand that you're trying to put a bit of a veneer on everything to keep the water's not rocky, but like, I need you to be real. Right. So we've kind of worked through some stuff like that before, but I don't know. I get it.
That's the key, though, is to work through it. I think most guys just go, I don't want to piss her off. I'll just say the right thing. But I think it's better just go for it and then deal with it at the time and get it all out, and then you're completely 100%.
Right.
Do you ever have that thing where, because I'm seeing a gal now, and it'll get weird for a while. I'll do something that'll bother her or vice versa, and we'll just bottle it like the introvert, passive-aggressive cunts that we are, and then we won't really like have sex or anything, and then you fight, and then you have that great sex because it's all out. So it's good to just get it out, but sometimes you don't want to get it out. Sometimes like it's going to be a lot of work getting that out.
Yes.
And I'd rather watch Netflix.
I've definitely... I don't know if the question is, when you bottle stuff up, is there ever a healthy bottling? Like, because sometimes both of us will wait to bring something up, and sometimes it's like what you're saying of like, it's just too hard to get into it right now. Or it could also be because I want to think it through and make sure that I'm not just flying off the handle.
Right. That's a good point. I agree with that. Yeah. There's, you see that girl or guy at the mall every now and then, they're just like, fuck you, I'll da-da-da, and you're like, man, she could use some bottling. Or he could use some bottling,
right.
So I think you're right. I think there's a healthy bottle. There's a sophistication bottle.
Right.
Where you're like, all right, we're in public, or we're trying to get through this airport.
Yeah.
Let's just get it together.
But then there's also the unhealthy bottling, which I definitely used to be guilty of 100% of the time, which was like, no, I'm the cool girlfriend. Nothing bothers me.
Right.
And because if I ever let you know that I'm bothered by anything, then you'll leave me. So this was this was years ago, my pattern. I was just afraid of like my shadow. So
yeah.
I would just pretend nothing ever bothered me, but everything bothered me. So I don't think it was convincing.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of like, what's wrong? Oh, I'm just tired.
It's
for
sad.
Years.
It's sad that the quote unquote cool girlfriend is a complete lie.
Yeah.
That is a bummer, because girlfriends can be cool, but whenever a girl's like, I want to be the cool girlfriend, they're always faking it.
Yeah, and I don't think that works either.
No,
because wanting to be the quote unquote cool girlfriend is what
you think the guy wants.
Yes, and it's also what a girl with real low self-esteem does. Because then and now I'm talking like as if I'm 18 or something, but this is what I remember, is then I would see these guys and they would be like head over heels for some girl who definitely wasn't being cool.
Oh, really?
She was super high maintenance.
Interesting. But were they just trying to sleep with her, or were they actually into her? Because usually
were
a high
into
maintenance
her.
girl is attractive because she's like obviously high maintenance.
Yeah.
She's working on things physically. So
I think if a guy, let me tell you about men.
please.
Tell me if you agree with this.
Yeah.
By the way, I should disclaimer we're making gross generalizations. But however,
Yes.
this is just my experience. It seems like if a guy just wants to sleep with a girl, if she's high maintenance, I mean high maintenance relationshipy wise,
Okay.
not like high maintenance like wears a lot of makeup and
Got
high
it.
heels.
Got it.
If she's a handful, well, that's the wrong terminology. If she's high maintenance, that does not that's not something that you want to sleep with. But in a relationship, being high maintenance, actually, guys will kind of like do that works in a relationship. I'm not sure I agree with what I just said.
I don't know either, but an example would help. But I hear you. High maintenance. Give me an example of high maintenance.
Oh, of being high maintenance.
Yeah. Just like always moody.
Not always moody, but like she didn't want him to go on that trip with his guy friends, so he doesn't.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And she's upset about this thing, so he needs to do this. And
yeah, well, can I just say, as a guy, I think a lot of dudes subconsciously want that in a
that's
woman.
what I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Whereas I was trying to be the like, I will never ever be like that.
Right. I don't have that in
You
me at
barely
all.
even notice me.
Well, you know those, because it goes both ways. Like some guys are like, I kind of secretly I need the girl to be like, don't go out tonight, blah blah
Right.
blah. And I think some girls like the guy who's like, we're going here, like let's do this, and he kind of pulls her along, and she's like, hey, I have a mind of my own, but he's like, no, we're doing it, but she secretly kind of likes it.
Yeah.
And I think we both do that, but I have none of that. I say exactly what I'm thinking, and that's what I want. I don't have any of that like hiding or whatever.
Right. Subtext.
Yeah, subtext. So like, I think a lot of people get confused by that, ironically, because I'm like, this is exactly what I want. And they go, no, it's not. I'm like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of these guys, you know when a girl's mad and she's like, don't talk to me, get out of my face. But she goes in the other room and goes under the covers, and she kind of wants you to go in there and be
Yes.
like, I'm sorry, but she actually said, don't talk to me.
Right.
So in my head, I go, she said, don't talk to me. But if I said, don't talk to me, I actually mean it.
Right.
So you come in and you go, oh, no, let me talk to you and let's work it out. I'm like, no, I actually don't.
Yeah.
Want you to.
I feel like at a certain point you can't be faulted for taking someone at their word, though.
Well, hey, it happens.
Yeah. How long have you been seeing this gal?
About a year and change.
Is it serious?
Pretty serious, yeah.
Because your last relationship you were in for 12 years, you were high school sweethearts, then it went sour, and then you cheated on her,
Oh, yeah.
and she found your phone when you were in the shower, and you came out naked
Yes.
and tried to deny everything.
Yes, naked and wet, horrible way to defend yourself, and flaccid. And yeah, so that
It'd be
that was not
weirder if
pretty.
you weren't.
Yeah, it'd be weird if that whole turmoil turned me on.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty rough. And we worked it out, but it was like a car that's been hit in a wreck. The door just never closes right.
Oh,
And
I
you
didn't realize you stayed with her. You got back together with her after that.
tried to make it work for like 6 months. Because, 12 years, you're like, this is all I know. I got to
Right.
keep this going. But it just fizzled and couldn't last.
What were those last 6 months like?
They were tough. I mean, the first 2 were just me groveling and begging and I'm pleading, and then us kind of realizing it's kind of over, and then we had to move out, so that was a process. So it was rough. We both went to therapy over it
Separately or
separately. Yeah, I
Did-
can't do the couples therapy.
why?
I'm such a blubbering loser in therapy that I can't have anyone see that.
Did you, in your heart, truly believe you wanted to stay with her?
No, I knew it was over.
So then why were you like groveling for 2 months? Was it just like this what you knew?
Well, it was what I knew, and it was guilt. I felt so bad. I totally fucked her over, and I just had to try to make it right.
Do you regret having cheated on her?
Of course I do, but I didn't know how else to get out in a weird way, because she was one of those like, look, maybe I kind of want to end this, and she'd be like, oh, shut up, let's get dinner. She'd say that.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, all right, well, let's get dinner. So I'm like, she was hard to break up with. She was one of these people like, oh, you're not breaking up with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess we're not. I tried.
What do you make of that?
She was just a, brassy broad, which I like.
But did she really think that you didn't want to, or?
Well, also I'm a fucking no self-worth, so I'm like, this person loves me. Maybe I should stay with them.
Right, because, yeah.
Who else would love me? This weirdo has fallen for me as a mistake or whatever it is, but I got to capitalize on it. It's like I had some great job, and I was like, I hate this job, but the benefits.
Yeah. I get that, though. Not necessarily relationship-wise, but just in life. I think I spend a lot of time trying to talk myself out of my feelings.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'll get a feeling about something. Like, I don't think I want this. I don't want to do that. I don't think I like this. I don't XYZ. And then I'll tell myself why I shouldn't feel that way.
Interesting.
Like, even the house search was so every big decision not every, but a lot of big decisions I make, it's like there's the thing that like I get excited about, and then there's the thing I think that I should go for, and I complicate things so much.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if that, and again, we should call this episode Generally Speaking, because we're general and we're generally speaking.
Right, we are.
But I feel like that's like almost a lady thing.
Maybe.
Because like my ex would always be like, I never want to get married. I never want kids. Let's live forever. Da-da. And then right when we broke, she's already married.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, it's okay to want to get married. I know that's like a cliche of a girl thing, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I know another girl, she's like, I love to cook for my boyfriend, but I don't want to tell my girlfriends because they're like big feminists and I feel like they'd make fun of me, but I like cooking for them. It's like, well, just fucking cook for the guy and just tell people. It's weird to have these gender role things. They're like, I'm embarrassed that I like this. Like, no, because I don't feel like if a guy likes to build, that's a gender role stereotype, but he just goes, yeah, I like to build.
Right.
And no other guy goes, hey, come on, be a strong man. What are you doing? Don't build her a hut. It's a weird thing. It sucks that girls, I don't feel like you should be embarrassed by that. Live it, enjoy it, own it.
I actually, I listen to Comedy Central in my car sometimes,
Me
and
too.
I've heard bits of your act, which are very funny. Which album are they playing multiple albums of yours?
Both of those two are on there.
And you have a thing about, like, why is it okay for a woman to want a guy who builds, but it's not okay for a guy to want a woman who cooks?
Yes. It sounds bad.
Right.
I guess it's all history, But like, if a guy's like, I want my woman to cook, people are like, oh.
Yeah, it sounds
bad.
It does.
But if a girl's like, I like a guy who's good with his hands and can fix stuff around the house, people are like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just the history of, women being held down and all that stuff.
Right.
But if you really put it on paper, they're the exact same thing, which is basically my whole act. Just like on paper, this is this way, but when you say it, it's kind of like my old joke about a strong silent type. You hear women, I love a strong silent type, but if a guy's like, yeah, I like a woman who doesn't talk a lot,
Right.
It sounds bad, but they're the same thing, So
Right.
that's my act. I just gave away my whole comedy stylings right there. That's my whole secret, my formula.
So what brings you to LA right now?
Well, we did the live pod, and I'm pitching a show, which I can't go into, but a production company bought it.
Congrats.
Thank you, and now we have to pitch it to networks, and hopefully somebody buys it.
And so you're out here to pitch the show.
Pitching the
you
show.
You have your pitch meetings.
Yes.
I'm going to ask some questions about it. Now, I know you said you can't talk much about it, so you just say however much you can say.
All right.
How's the pitching going? I have done this as well.
I've pitched 9 shows, and obviously none of them went, but it's a grueling process, but I'm in that I don't give a fuck anymore phase, and that's totally helping. Because now I go in and I used to go in and go, all right, I got to nail every line, got to get them to like me, got to get some big laughs, and now I go in like, look, the show's good, here it is, blow me, and it's going a lot better.
I'm sitting here going like 9 shows?
I've pitched a
I've
million.
pitched 2.
It's hell.
And that was enough for me to go, I don't know if I have this in me. And now granted, like a lot of things, like I got pregnant and then my life changed a little bit. And for me, it's sort of this unfinished business of like, I will revisit that someday. But just the 2, it was such a dispiriting experience.
Oh, it's hell. It's so judgy. It's so underwhelming.
I admire the 9. I admire what you're doing though is what you have to do. Like that is how people who eventually get shows. That's their story.
Yeah, Chappelle in some podcast, Dave Chappelle said he pitched 13 at some point,
right?
And then he got Chappelle's show 14th. But that was them going, "You should do a show with us." And he's like, "Well, I've tried to for 10 years."
Yeah. Wow.
The industry
9.
sucks. I hate them.
How do you not do you internalize the rejection? Do you even perceive it? Okay, you do perceive it as rejection.
I internalize, a fart. Everything goes in me. I'm a big, soppy, sensitive, wuss. But yeah, so it all sucks, but you just put all that pain into the next one. And also I'm very wide-eyed, or what's the optimistic? Mm-hmm. Almost in a hurtful, naive. That's the one. Yeah, in a way that hurts me, where I go, this is the one. I can feel, and I start daydreaming about it while I'm showering, oh my God, them saying yes, and then having the show on TV, and my parents watching it, and I just start dreaming about all that shit. It's like a lottery ticket. You buy the ticket, you're like, this is it. You can feel it.
Yeah.
It's like that lady on the slot machine with the respirator, where you're like, you're putting your whole savings into this. And she's going, but I can feel it. This is the next one. I have that with pitching.
You have to, though.
You have to. In showbiz, stand-up. Look at it. We go on stage in front of 80 drunks in Ohio, and you hope it works.
What's the format? Can you say that?
Yeah, it's a sitcom for a streaming service. It's dark. It's basically all surrounding autism. That's all I can give you. But
what's your relationship with autism?
I'm on the spectrum pretty good.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, notice I can't look you in the eye.
That I don't recall from last time, but that I have noticed since we've been doing this podcast.
Oh, really? Jeez,
well,
have I gotten more autistic-y?
No. I didn't think of it as a spectrum thing. I just noticed that you're staring not at me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I just figured I was too beautiful to look at.
Yeah, it's distracting.
Yeah.
I'm hard. No, I just I'm a weirdo, and so
Did it make wait, but I think I hugged you when you first arrived. Did that make you uncomfortable?
No, I can do a hug.
Okay.
I can do a hug. It's not a great hug, but I can do it. So, yeah, just that's basically the show, but it's me. It's more ramped up.
So you feel you're on the spectrum,
Oh,
or
yeah.
have you been diagnosed as being on the
Yeah,
spectrum?
yeah.
How does this manifest? When did it first come
When I
out?
started going to therapy after the breakup, there was some symptoms, and he had a whole thing, and so I took a test.
What were the symptoms?
The eye contact, a lot of literal thinking, hard to connect, a lot of not understanding things because I'm too literal, and lack of emotion and all that stuff.
That's so interesting
Oh,
because you don't. The image I have in my head of what someone who's on the spectrum would be like, you seem very personable and warm, actually.
Oh, hey. Well, I've learned.
Are you faking it?
A lot of it's fake, yeah, I guess. I mean, I try to be a warm, nice guy, but a lot of it's just worked out over the years. Yeah.
Did this come out looking back on your childhood, do you see ways in which this was already present? Like what?
Oh, God, yeah. Just, being in class and not really understanding anything, but being too scared to ask questions because I would just want to be like, well, I don't get this. So what does that mean? And then they would answer, and I go, what about this? And a lot of just not getting anything. And then I'd ask my mom later because she was nice enough to humor me and go through the motions with me. But, a lot of not connecting, and my parents are very standoffish. They're military. So I just could never really bond. Mm-hmm. And a lot of alone time.
Do you have a sibling?
Older brother. Perfect son.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. I'll give you the whole rundown.
Please.
Certified genius, went to the best high school in New Orleans, skipped his senior year to go straight to college, full scholarship. Then he became a robot builder. Remember, BattleBots and all that? He got into that, entered all these competitions, won a ton of money, saw the world, became a fencer. Then, after college, he said, I got to help the world. He joined the Peace Corps, went to Africa, helped kids do math in Africa, and now he works for some computer programming thing. He's doing very well. He's got a second kid, a house, the whole thing. And I tell dick jokes.
Your parents are proud of you, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I own an apartment.
I own an apartment. That they like, but they don't get the joke. I don't think they get comedy. They're just like, yeah, I don't get it. You go out and tell jokes to people, and they pay you? And I'm like, yeah.
But are they not familiar with stand-up comedy as a vocation?
They're familiar with it, but they don't really get how it works as a business.
I see.
And I'm like, Tonight Show, Conan. And they're like, that's cool. Now, how much does that pay? And I'm like, well, that's like $1,200 each. And they're like, Well, $1,200. That doesn't pay the rent. So they always break it down like that.
I need to tell you guys about Quip. When you think of the perfect gift, you probably don't think of an electric toothbrush. Unless you're a dentist. I feel like that's like high on their list. But the Quip electric toothbrush is one of the most gift-guided gifts of the season, and here's why. It's perfect for everyone with a mouth, and it's something they'll use twice every day. And believe you me, I'm not sitting here trying to think of an example of something without a mouth, because I'm sure there is something without a mouth. This is me trying to think of that. But anyway, what I'm saying is the Quip electric toothbrush is an amazing gift. The thing about the Quip is that a lot of electric toothbrush, my own personal experience with the Quip. First of all, it is affordable, but more than that, it is beautiful. I believe I read somewhere that it's like the iPhone of toothbrushes. It is just, if you're into aesthetics, it is hard to beat. And it comes in a bunch of different colors, and it just looks very sleek. And it also works extremely well. It is not a toothbrush that is overly aggressive. So when I first used it, I was like, oh, this feels... It's gentler than I was expecting, and yet my teeth were so clean. It's amazing. It has sensitive sonic vibrations, gentle enough on your sensitive gums, and a built-in timer with guiding pulses to remind you when to switch sides. Quip makes holiday travels easy and clean with a multi-use cover that mounts to mirrors and unmounts to slide over the bristles for on-the-go brushing. So it doesn't take up a big... What's the term I'm looking for? There's not a big footprint. There's not a big toothbrush print on your counter because it just goes right there on your mirror. Quip doesn't require a clunky charger and runs for 3 months on one charge. Quip is the gift that keeps refreshing, with brush heads automatically delivered on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5, and you can even gift prepaid refills for a year to make sure they're never using old, worn-out, or ineffective bristles. Quip is one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the American Dental Association and has thousands of verified 5-star reviews. I love Quip because it'll change the way you brush. And that's why they have over 5,000 verified 5-star reviews. Quip looks like a big-ticket tech gift with a stocking stuffer price starting at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/Rosen right now, you get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. But you don't have to tell your giftee that. Don't tell them that. That's your first refill pack at getquip.com/Rosen, getquip.com/Rosen, getquip.com/Rosen. So, is your brother funny?
No, I got him on that.
Parents not funny.
My dad's funny on accident.
Who around you was funny? Was anyone around you funny?
Not really. My friends. Me and my friends were really cut up. And then I was obsessed with comedy, Bill Murray and George Carlin and all that stuff. Eddie Murphy. Loved In Living Color. Simpsons. Seinfeld.
You opened for Louis C.K.
Oh, yeah. Many times.
Did you have an inkling of any of this?
It was always a rumor that basically everybody knew about, but...
What was the rumor, that he liked to masturbate in front of people?
Yeah, that was always like up in the comedy lore,
right?
But nobody ever cared then until it actually became a thing,
right? Yeah, it's interesting. I had Bonnie McFarlane on my show, and she was saying that she had known the women, Dana and I'm forgetting the other one's name, but that like they, she knew the story from Montreal years ago, and they would laugh like it was this like funny thing. I mean, upsetting but funny too.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a weird time. We're in a weird time. Comedy. It's weird because comedy was always this underground, who gives a fuck guys talking about their dick and whatever kind of raunchy, gritty New York thing. And now it's very popular. And once something gets popular, we have to look in on it more with a fine-tuned eye and go through it with a comb. I said fine-tooth. Should have been fine-tooth comb. But yeah, we have to like look in on it with this magnifying glass and like find everything wrong with it and scrub it to death. It's like, maybe let it be gross. Comedy's a bunch of degenerates, men and women. Paula Poundstone, like, didn't she diddle some kids? That was a thing.
I don't know, but there was a scandal where I think she was accused of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, these are off fucked up people. Most people in comedy are nutty, and most entertainers and artists are fucked up, and that's why they have this outlet. That's why they're so creative and whatever. So I think it's just a weird bunch of people trying to be artists, and there's gonna be some mishaps.
I mean, I will say that what you're talking about putting comedy becoming more popular and putting it under the magnifying glass is what you get is a lot of humorless people weighing in on what is and isn't appropriate.
So true. Well said. Yeah, that's really a big part of it.
Look, I like humor, but it's like, I don't believe that you like humor. If you believe that God, I got into this really, really frustrating back and forth on Instagram with a college student. It was the kind of thing where
the worst.
I was supposed to do I did do Ralph Garman's podcast, but I was sitting in my car and like, let's say I was supposed to be there at 1 and it was like 12:59 and I'm like, I have just enough time to dig into this. Like sitting in my car.
Never works out.
Like writing something and then like as soon as I got back in the car, like back on there and I'm like, why am I doing I do not need to do this. And honestly,
I get it. You get that rage and you just have to attack and you think there's going to be rational thinking. You think if I say this, they'll get me and they'll understand my point, but they never do.
Because I've had James Gunn on my podcast a few times, and I really like him, and I feel like what happened to him is fucked up.
I completely agree.
I don't believe that he is a pedophile. I believe he was trying to make shocking, tasteless jokes.
Yes.
That's what he thought was funny back then. And by the way, a lot of people thought that was funny back then.
Right.
Like, I
love pedophile jokes.
I know a ton of Michael Jackson jokes, a ton of clown jokes.
Dead baby.
Yes.
Pregnant. Sorry.
It's okay. No, it's fine. But I used to tell dead baby. I loved truly tasteless jokes. That's
Me
where
too.
I collected. I
have a book on my toilet of just truly tasteless jokes.
That's where I learned the word pussy, and I thought it was pronounced pussy because like so many of those words, I didn't know what they meant, and I had never heard them. I had just read them. In fact, I remember there's some joke in Truly Tasteless Jokes where the punchline is like Papua New Guinea cocksucker, and I don't even remember what the joke was, but
it's good grouping of words.
It is though. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I overheard my mom. I don't know what I overheard, but my mom was saying, like, the women were up in arms because one of their friends had called another friend a word that you're not supposed to use. And I'm sure it was cunt.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, what was the word? And she didn't want to tell me. And I was like, I know bad words. And so I just started listing words that I had learned from Truly Tasteless Jokes. And one of them, and then I was like, blah, 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 Papua New Guinea cocksucker. And I remember my mom being like, what?
Yeah, that's a weird one to hear.
Anyway, point being,
I think you said it nail on the head. A lot of humorless people weighing in on comedy.
So this person that I got into it with on Instagram was saying that she believes there are topics that should be off limits for comedy. You should never make a joke about.
Hate that.
Yeah, and it was
bad.
driving me insane because it just goes against my fundamental belief of what the purpose comedy serves. Like comedy is, it's a place to kind of work out the things that we find subversive and transgressive and like all the dark matter in the human psyche, which it's real. Like that's a real thing that we all contend with. That's what makes something funny. So if you say you can never make a joke about XYZ, and it was like you never make a joke about rape, never make a joke about anything where anyone could be victimized, it's like, what's left?
What's left? Yeah, and who are you to say? That's some weird entitlement.
Right. Cameron Esposito has an album called Rape Jokes. Like it just
is that
depends.
right?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It depends how they're done.
Of course, and it depends how funny they are. And just because it's really narcissism and entitlement. Like just because you don't like it, we all can't do it. What a crazy statement to make. What a crazy thing to just. This is how I feel, so this is out. Who cares? We're too worried about how everybody feels. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We coddle everybody and we go, well, he's offended, so we got to pull this out. It's like, well, let him be offended. It's okay. It's like saying, we got to take Tabasco off the table. It burned her tongue.
Right.
So we can't all use Tabasco because it burned your tongue? Get out of here. It's so ridiculous.
Right.
And it's a horrible place for comedy to be in. And I see people going on stage now just going, racism is bad and you shouldn't rape. And I'm like, no shit. This is not stand-up. Stand-up should go against the grain. I want to hear you talk about why racism is funny or something like that.
Yeah.
Not saying it is. Not saying I'm pro-racism. I'm just saying that's good comedy. Like, let me feel a little something. Let me give me that jolt of like,
the
oh,
charge.
wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
like dealing with uncomfortable topics.
Yes.
Because how else are we going to deal with them? We can't just repress them.
Exactly.
At the same time, I do think victimizing an individual person is very different than making jokes that someone finds offensive.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if it doesn't get a laugh, then you got to drop the joke.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think that the line has moved.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about how many jokes were completely acceptable where the what was funny about the joke was implying someone was gay. You know, like I don't think that stuff wouldn't fly anymore.
I never thought that was funny.
But I mean, growing up, so many.
Look at this homo. Like that was just a punchline in the 90s. Point to a guy.
Right.
And that would get a big laugh.
Right. I remember a friend of mine referred to like are they called broom handle mustaches? Like a big, thick, bushy mustache as a dick duster.
Oh, that's great.
Which I still think is funny, but it's like, I don't know that I'm like, wait a minute, but the joke is that guy is, but it is funny.
That's
I don't
funny.
know. Is
That's
it,
the funny
I mean,
visual.
Is it okay though?
Yes, that's fine.
I guess.
And then it's weird because if a gay guy says it, then it's okay.
Right.
Like, right? It's all very silly. It's a lot of what's in somebody's head. You know, you go, yada, 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 and somebody goes, that's racist. And you go, actually, that has nothing to do with race. But somehow in your fucked up brain, it got filtered into some racist closet. Like, that means you're fucked up, but somehow that comes on me because your brain took it to a racist place. So there's all kinds of shit. So I think you just do what you do and don't. Like, Bill Burr is this insanely irreverent. He's very relevant. Irreverent comic, and he gets a ton of hate and a ton of shit and backlash, but he goes, whatever, just keeps going.
Yeah.
And when you keep going, you kind of walk through the fire long enough, you go, oh, that's it. Because the only thing that fuels these people is you fighting back.
I know.
So you got to just go. Just do it. And I think people are kind of craving that right now in a weird way.
Yeah, that's something that I deal with. Not... In general, I am someone who tries to not offend people, and I don't ever want to hurt someone's feelings. And if someone lets me know that they were bothered by something, like I take that really hard. And so I feel like I'm Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
So, and yet even I get people letting me know that I fucked up, that I offended them, that I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say all that.
You can't avoid it.
Right. And more and more I do try to just stay true to like, what do I think makes for a good show? What do I believe? Because at the end of the day, and I have my psychiatrist says at the end of the day like 400 times during each session, and I don't like it.
That's brutal.
It's a little much. He needs like more other cliches to use instead. Like when all's said and done.
When the dust settles.
Right.
Yeah.
On balance, there's so many.
Never heard that one.
Yeah. I heard a lawyer say it originally, and I'm wondering if it's used in legal circles. But then I started hearing it around more. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles, will I have been a better performer, public figure, podcaster, whatever I am? Will I have been better because I tried to change who I am to appeal to people online? No.
Yeah, exactly. Don't even worry about it. Don't even spend a moment on it.
Well,
and I do it too, so I should take my own advice, but it's too much. But I think something has to be said here about this whole offended and fighting back and getting mad. A lot of the people who fight back the most, I notice, are angry themselves.
Yes.
It's kind of like the guy who makes fun of gays and hates gays is actually gay.
Right.
There's a lot of that with this whole social justice thing. Like I know a girl who is like, we got to stop these men and da-da-da. And then somebody did some digging, and she's guilty of, like, sexually harassing a lot of guys and, like, fondling dudes against their will and da-da-da. So it's like, which one is it?
Do I know who this is?
I don't think so. But no one does. Okay. But there's a lot of that I've noticed. It's kind of like how the cop is corrupt. You know, there's a lot of flip-flopping in this finger-pointing when they should be pointing it at themselves. It's almost like you're protesting too much.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm weary of people who are so quick to punish.
Right.
Why do you want to punish people so bad? Because that's just another kind of attack, you know?
Right. Well, right. I do think that.
What about educate before punishing? You
Yeah.
know? But they want that blood. They want to see people go down. And I'm part of me is like, how much of a hero are you?
Yeah.
You seem more like the villain,
Right.
you know? But
Right. You want to exact revenge.
yeah, but we praise them. Good for you. You took this person down, but it's like now this guy or girl is dead to the world, and you get to seem like the hero, but you're actually kind of vicious yourself in a different way. But
Right.
still, you guys are kind of the same person, is what I'm saying. Like the weird rednecky guy who's like racist and whatever is very similar to the snowflake. They're actually the same person. You know when the Trump guy goes, "Oh, you're all snowflakes," then you go, "Well, what about this?" And they go, "Hey, don't say that." Like when you make
Oh,
fun
yeah.
of Trump's kid,
They're the
Barron,
ultimate. Yeah.
then they become snowflakes. So
Yeah.
like you're the same as that.
Right.
That's why that's why you hate that person so much, because you
Totally.
know that's you.
Right. Well, what you said about the cop and the criminal, I mean, that's like an old or a time-tested example of like two sides of the same coin.
Yes,
I mean, like people
yes.
have made art about that.
Totally.
And I've thought that sometimes. I've thought no offense to my cop listeners, but the urge to have that much power where you can pull someone over,
Yes.
arrest someone or
Yes.
whatever, like it's
Already a red
arguably
flag.
it's an antisocial urge that is like used for good. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
right,
It's like
right.
it's the acceptable version of the like of the person who goes out and is a criminal.
Yes, exactly.
Because in terms of the way you relate to people, you're still wielding a lot of power.
right. I completely agree.
This next gift idea I want to tell you guys about is something near and dear to my heart because I love books. I love giving books as gifts to kids, especially. Well, to everyone, but we're talking about kids right now. And my son Elliot loves reading books, and I feel that is a sign of how superior he is. Books are the perfect gift for the littlest readers on your shopping list. And Random House Children's Books has this website, holidaymustrueads.com. holidaymustrueads.com. If you go there, tons of books that make great gifts for children, and they're divided in these really smart categories. So it's like for the kid who always wants one more book before bedtime, and that is Elliot, although he has started doing this thing where you'll get about 3/4 of the way through the book and then he'll just flip back to the beginning. So not only does he want one more book before bedtime, he wants the same book repeatedly before bedtime. And they have ones for the littlest reader. They have for those who need a little added holiday cheer. Those are holiday-ish books. For the young bookworm, for the teen who craves excitement. And that is not all. I did not list all the categories they have. It's a really fun website because it will probably remind you of a lot of books that you might have read when you were young. Like, for example, for me, Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. Write in if you happen to remember that book. I hadn't thought of that book in years. And it was a real trip down memory lane. And it made me nostalgic. And of course, now I have to buy it for my son. Duck and Goose, It's Time for Christmas. The Christmasaurus, Holiday Helpers, which is a Paw Patrol book. My nephew is obsessed with Paw Patrol. Grumpy Monkey, and more. Go to holidaymustrueads.com for more ideas. That's holidaymustrueads.com, holidaymustrueads.com.
So I think soon, because right now it's just like bring these bad people down, which is good. We should be bringing bad people down, and all the movements are great. But at some point, we're going to be turning these things, like some of these people pointing fingers. In 3 years, when they apply for a job, somebody's going to go, boy, you really went hard on this person. And that's
Right.
going to come back.
Right.
So I think just be conscious and be civil with your choices on who you're trying to kill. You know?
Well, be kind or
And be kind.
be a little bit understanding.
And isn't that the definition of progressive? Like,
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. Like, if you hire the Comedy Cellar, they hired this guy who was in jail for like 10 years or something. He was a criminal. He beat up some women. But he's a bouncer now, and everybody goes, look at you. He's been rehabilitated, and you hired this guy. You're so open-minded. You're so progressive. But then it's like, oh, so you let Louis back on stage, you piece of shit. It's like, well, isn't that kind of progressive? Isn't that kind of sympathetic also? And again, not saying this is my opinion. I'm just saying, like, You got to look at everything,
Right.
you know?
Greg Fitzsimmons said that he thinks there needs to be an we're going through a period of overcorrection.
Overcorrecting. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Which is one way of looking at it, which makes it feel more okay when you look at things that seem egregious or unfair to the perpetrators, which I'm going to get shit for saying that. And I don't even feel that strongly or agree with that, but I'm just saying that it has been tilted it's been bad for a long time.
Right.
And all of a sudden, a lot of shit's bubbling up and coming to light. And so we are going through a period of metamorphosis, hopefully.
Totally. And I totally get that. And that's how it always happens. And it's got to happen that way, I guess. But we need to be aware of it, that we're doing that. It's weird when somebody's like, this guy grabbed a woman's ass at a parade. We should kill him. And you're like, well, wait a minute. That's a big leap, But people get so worked up, so they just go to the worst thing. Yeah.
I think there's legitimate anger, and it's just spilling out everywhere.
Yeah, totally. And that happened with like Black Lives Matter. It happens with race, and it's happened now with gender and all that. So that's just how people are. That's just normal.
You have a Caitlyn Jenner joke in
your
act, which is actually very funny. Do you get pushback on that?
No, never. Never have. And I stand by the joke because I'm not insulting her.
Yeah.
I'm insulting people who are being phony. Basically, the joke is, I can't remember what it's like. It used to be about Lena Dunham, but I had to change it because, whatever. But yeah, so I just made it about Caitlyn Jenner because it still worked, but it was originally about Lena Dunham.
I think you were saying, why does I think tell me if I know your act. The way you got into it was beautiful people don't put any emphasis on their personality.
Yes.
And then it's like, why do we have to say that everyone's beautiful?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Then I said, people always say Caitlyn Jenner's so beautiful, but then if you go, oh, well, you look like her, then they get offended.
Yeah.
So which one is it?
Well, fuck you.
Yeah. So I love jokes like that where you can really call out some bullshit that's right there. And if she's beautiful and you look like her, shouldn't you be happy?
Yeah. Wait, why did you have to change it? Because of Lena Dunham?
Just because she's like, she might hear it, and she's like a human being who listens to comedy. I feel like Caitlyn Jenner's on another planet.
Right.
I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
She'll never hear it.
I mean, that being said, I personally, not that you asked my opinion, I'm more comfortable with it not being Lena Dunham.
Yeah, you see?
Because I like her a lot.
Yeah, there you go. And I like Lena Dunham too, but it was just, she fit for the bit.
Right. Amy Schumer. It's going back to something we were talking about before of like responding to comments and stuff. I don't know if you saw do you still open for her?
No. I've headlined now, and I think she's using like a new crop of younger comics, which is nice. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of moved on. And
congrats, you graduated into your own headlining.
Yeah, I've been headlining for a while now, and I have heard, she helped me a lot on that whole journey. So
she posted something on Instagram, which is like, to the people in the sub bowels of Reddit.
I saw that. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that? Because my thoughts were like, and I actually left this as a comment, like, it makes me relieved to know that you sometimes read stupid comments and feel the need to set the record straight, but seriously, fuck them. Because I look at that and I have the same reaction that people often say to me whenever I mention some stupid thing I read online about myself, which is like, why are you like, I look at that and I'm like, Amy Schumer, you do not need to respond to this. Like, they're just a bunch of trolls.
Right.
But it's interesting to look at that and see like, oh, she's bothered by it.
Well, yeah, we're all human, but I gotta say, from knowing her for so long, she is so fucking strong because she gets so much hate. Like, she gets so much hate that it spills over into her friends. Mm-hmm. Like, I get a lot of it from her, people that hate her, and it's like, I don't know, I couldn't handle it. I'm not that as strong as her. She's so tough, but the joke thievery thing is such a turn the knife for comics. Like, you can stab us all day, but that calling us a joke thief is just the worst thing you can be called. Right. So I think she had to address that.
Mm-hmm. Is that a new charge that got leveled at her?
No, that's old. That's been around for a couple years, yeah. But
so, like, what I imagine is she just in a moment of weakness decided to, like, read some shit about herself on Reddit.
Yeah, I think she's like, look, call me whatever you want, physically, but I'm no joke thief.
Right.
So I think she's like I got to set the score here.
Yeah. I want to tell you guys about Third Love. You've probably heard of Third Love. They make super comfortable, super high quality bras. They're like hands down the most comfortable bras you'll own. And they are tagless, which means they don't have that little label sticking in the back. I am the kind of person, tags drive me insane, not just on bras, like on everything. So one of the first things I do is rip the tag out, and then you have to hope that it doesn't actually like pull a stitch or two out of the item that you just ripped it from. But oftentimes you're like, sweet relief. And then you put it on. You're like, no, there's still a little scratchy nub. No scratchy nub with Third Love, because it's no itching, straps that won't slip, ultra soft smoothing fabrics, and lightweight, super thin memory foam cups. And Third Love has distinguished themselves not only with having super high quality, super comfortable bras, but they're the industry leader with 70 sizes. 70. You could collect them all, including their signature half cup sizes, because it turns out most women fall in between sizes, and they have a really fun, really helpful fit finder quiz. Over 10 million women have taken the quiz to date. It's actually I think some of my male listeners have taken it too, because I was like, why not? Go ahead and take it. Because I love a quiz. It's actually fun and takes less than a minute to complete. Did you know that breast shape matters when finding a good fit? I knew this. Third Love helps you identify your breast size and shape and find styles that fit your body. So basically you go and there's like a bunch of different pictures and you're like, are those my boobs? Are those my boobs? Are those my boobs? Are those my boobs? And then you select your boobs, and then you talk about how your current bra fits and any fit problems. Also, there's a 100% fit guarantee. Third Love's team of expert fit stylists are dedicated to helping you find your perfect fit. If you don't love their product, returns and exchanges are free and easy. And there's a new cotton collection with t-shirt bras and cotton t-shirt bras, cotton underwear. It took 2 years to develop and perfect the cotton collection, which is made with a premium cotton called Pima. The result is a line of incredibly soft, smooth, and breathable bras and underwear you'll want to wear every day. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone. So right now, they're offering my listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/Alison now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/Alison for 15% off today. thirdlove.com/Alison, thirdlove.com/Alison. I didn't realize that she gets that much hate. Although occasionally when I want to make myself feel better, I'll think of some other I was going to say, let me rephrase that, because I'm not putting myself in the same category as these people. I will either think of some famous woman that to me seems so likable that how could that person get hate, like Amy Poehler, who gets a ton of hate.
Does she?
Yeah.
I love Amy Poehler.
I think all women in the public eye do.
I guess
or
so,
I'll
yeah.
think of like successful women who are crushing it, like, oh, I wonder what's said about them, and then I'll look and it's like always so I guess that's how I knew that Amy Schumer does get some hate, just because I have sought it out to see like what do they, because but if I hadn't, it's just like she's out there having an amazing career. You know what I mean? Like you're not aware of the hate unless you seek it out.
Right.
I think. But you're saying it would spill over into her friends.
Yeah, I mean, she gets it. I mean, the higher you go, the more hate. It's just how it goes. But I can't believe Poehler gets it. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure she doesn't read that.
Right.
She's too smart to get involved in that shit.
You'd think, except I'm pretty sure in her book she addresses it a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I could be. I'm not. Don't hold me to that, but I feel like in her book, Yes Please, she talks about it a bit. I remember Sandra Bullock, who to me is like, she was America's sweetheart for the longest time. She made some speech when she accepted an award where it was like, she like addressed the haters, and I was like, what?
Damn.
How could you have haters? Like to all the people who think I shouldn't be here. It's like,
wow.
I don't know. I think maybe everyone in the public eye gets it a bit.
Oh yeah, there's no way around it. But you know what's the worst kind of hate is, like, I'll get the comments, and the worst ones are the ones where you're like, I thought that too, and I didn't think anyone else knew that, and you nailed it.
Yeah.
And have you heard this term, intimacy through injury?
No.
I just heard this the other day. It blew my mind. This is everything. It's like every comment, they say these horrible things, and the meaner they are, the more likely you are to respond. And now you're interacting. You, a celebrity, is interacting with this fucking douche in a basement, with Cheeto fingers, and he's like, I got her, we're going at it. And even though you hate this person, they're still getting this visceral reaction out of you,
Right.
and
That's
maybe
really
you guys can
interesting.
even work it out. And now you've worked something out. Now you got to fight and made up
Yeah.
with a stranger.
Now you have a relationship with them.
Yes, so it kind of works. And so that's when I heard that, I was like, oh, now I know I'll never respond because now you're giving them something.
Right. I know. In moments of weakness, I will respond.
Me too.
But I've gotten a lot better about it because I think like the satisfaction I get from them not knowing that I ever read it, from them just having shot it into the ether and it never landed,
Yeah.
is greater than anything I'm going to get from responding.
Right.
Because I feel like if I ever respond, they're never like, oh man, she got me. It's just like, oh yes, this is what I wanted.
Yeah, of course. That's it. But yeah, again, we think in our rational brain like, oh, they called me a joke thief, so I'll just tell them I didn't steal it, and I'll tell them how I thought of the idea, thinking, oh, they'll go, okay, great, he thought of it this way, I get it now. But they go, nah, you're still a thief, and you go, God damn it, it didn't work.
Here's a question though. This is about to get vague and theoretical, but what you were saying, unless you have a comment to ground it, but what you were saying about when someone makes a comment and you're like, oh shoot, I thought that myself, but I hope no one would notice it.
Yeah.
Did they actually perceive something correctly and nail it? Or is it that because we are human beings, and if you're a performer, you have like a healthy dose of self-loathing, we have that negative shit all the time, and they just happen to say something negative, and does it make sense what I'm
it's a
saying?
good
Because I
question.
haven't articulated it well, but like, yeah, just that anything negative they say is going to have been something that we've thought at one point.
Right. It's probably a little coincidency thing the most,
Yeah.
because you got a million things and they just happen to nail one.
Right.
But there's a couple things that I always feel like I notice that other people don't, and when they hit those, that's when it really stings. But it was probably just something they caught. They weren't like, I'm going to get this guy on this one.
Right. Like what, unless you don't want to say.
Oh, man, I do this thing when I get nervous. I'll tell a joke, and I'm nervous that it won't get a reaction, so I make a noise, just so it's not quiet.
Uh-huh.
Because there's nothing worse than a da-da-da-da-da-da
Right.
silence. That's the worst. So I would go, I'm scared to say it because I'm worried these cum guzzlers will hear it and then fucking email me. But
Okay, you don't have to say it if you don't want, but there's a noise that you make.
I make a noise after a punchline just so there won't be silence, but it's a nervous tick. I'm not aware of it. Because
Right.
like, I'll get off stage on Conan, I'll do 5 minutes, I'll be like, that went pretty well, and then I'll go back and watch it. I'm like, I did the thing. And it kills me, and I have 800 other ones that I do too.
Has anyone that whose opinion you value ever pointed it out?
Ooh. Not really, but if they have if someone I respect has pointed out something, I always take it as a good nugget and I totally apply it.
But that's what I'm thinking, because what I'm hearing is like all comedians have little things they do.
Sure.
So it doesn't sound egregious to me.
Yeah, but there's some that personally you hate.
Yeah.
Like John Mulaney has that great bit about he's like, teenagers are so mean. They always find that thing like, hey, look at him, he's so high-waisted. And you go, that's something I'm sensitive about. It's a great bit of his. And that's exactly it, But I'm not one of these guys where if a bigger comic goes, hey, you gotta stop doing that, I don't go, hey, fuck you. I go, oh, yeah, that's a good point. I try to absorb everything.
Right.
And I'll do that with comments. You shit on my act. If it's constructive and not just mean and just vicious, I will apply it. I don't just go, you don't like that, fuck you. I go, he's got a point.
What about feedback on your podcast?
I'll take anything. Yeah, but as long as it's not just mean. Because I've had people go, hey, I don't want to bug you, I don't want to bother you, but I've noticed you do this. Is that on purpose or was that a mistake? And I'll go, oh yeah, I did do that. But if he's coming at me nice, I don't really mind it.
Yeah.
It still hurts a little bit.
I've had. So I do 2 versions of the show. I do this one-on-one, and then I have a panel.
Oh, wow.
You would be great on the panel.
Love a
that
panel.
comes out Thursdays. And whenever there's a new person on the show, I get all sorts of feedback on whether people like the
Sure,
person or not.
I'll get a lot of hate, I'm sure.
No. It's not on the Monday show usually. It's like
Okay.
on the panel because that has more of like a family feel, and people are like, "Who's this interloper? I don't like them, or I do like them, or whatever." And no, the only time I get a lot of hate from my Monday guests is if it's like a strong woman.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
I thought we all wanted a strong female lead.
Well, I think I have some leftover listeners from my time on Corolla, and they're not into it.
Right. Damn.
But
Because she's a woman, you think?
yeah, I do think
Interesting.
so. Like
That
I had
sucks.
Erin Gibson. Do you know who that is? She wrote a book. I'm staring at it. It's called Feminasty. She co-hosts Throwing Shade, which was a TV. It's a great podcast, and it's also a TV show. But she's like unapologetically feminist.
Okay.
But very. She comes from the improv world. Very funny, silly, absurd, hilarious, but outspoken. And I think that if a guy had come on and spoken that way, people wouldn't have responded the same way.
He'd be a strong man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I see a lot of that with strong women. They get a lot of shit for that.
Yeah. But I look at Erin and I'm like, her willingness to just go out there and say exactly what she thinks, regardless of the reaction, I admire that so much. Because as I'm speaking, I can feel the reaction, probably what I imagine the reaction to be. And I think that just like holds you back.
Interesting.
But anyway, what I was going to say is, people will write in and be like, I really like the show. I really like, I'm a fan. However, I don't think this person is working out.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, really? I liked them a lot.
Yeah.
And I've allowed that to influence the decisions I make.
Yes.
And then I regret it. And then I've like sort of I'll stop having someone on, and then I'm like, but I liked that person a lot, so I'll start having them on again, and then I'm like, I should have trusted my gut.
Go with the gut. It's good to take note and think about it, but still you got to go with what you think. You
Yeah.
gotta do you.
That's like the new thing I've realized is that if I'm gonna take, I listen to the feedback, but if I'm gonna take it to heart, I need to make sure more than I have in the past. I need to make sure that I personally agree with it.
Yeah. I agree. On my podcast, we just go off about anything, and we'll talk about flights and horrible travel stories. And one guy wrote in, he's like, I love you guys, but I can't stand these fucking flight complaints. Who cares? Get out of here. And for a second, I was like, maybe I should cut back, but no, go, leave. It's a free pod. You don't like it, get out of here. We got 1 million people who like the flight story, so we keep them.
Right.
But that's just how it's going to go, Yeah,
you
please
can't.
everyone.
Exactly. Exactly. That's just what I was going to say.
You try and you want to. You want everybody to love it.
It'd be great if you could.
But no, it's not going to happen.
Yes. I say let's do just me or everyone.
All right. How does that go again?
People write in with things they think or do, and they wonder, is it just me or is it everyone? And then we weigh in.
All right.
I would like to take this time to remind everyone that I'm on Patreon. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen is where you go for that. All sorts of fun, different reward levels. You can get extra episodes, bonus episodes every month. You can get access to a live stream that I do. You can get merch in the mail. You can get behind the scenes photos. You can get so much access to me, you'll beg me to leave you alone. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Okay, here we go.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Denise says, just me or everyone. Before I get out of my car, I look in the mirror to make sure nothing is hanging out of my nose or in my teeth. That is the kind of thing that I probably do without even being conscious of it.
Yeah.
I check myself out in like every reflective surface.
I should do that, but I don't. But that's not weird. We need some weird one. Come on, give me something that's like, holy shit. That's good stuff. That feels too normal.
Well, I think a lot of these are fairly normal.
Okay. I thought it was going to really get, I put this in my ass or I see antelopes as attractive or something.
Yeah. I do. Okay. Since you mentioned that, I posted this on Instagram.
All right.
This is
now
like
we're
the
talking.
sexiest picture of a koala bear that you'll probably ever see. Tell me Tell me what you think of that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not a koala that wants it?
Totally, yeah. He is a hornball. Or she.
Yeah, I wrote thirst trap because I think that's what it is.
I like it.
I will. You guys check it out on Instagram, Alison Rosen. It's I think the only koala. It's the only sexual koala photo I've posted.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, James Leroy Wilson says, looking back, I find it hilarious. There was a show named BJ and the Bear. That was probably before your time, Mark, and I think it was before my time. I don't
70s?
recall what was it even about.
I think it was a detective show. Or
Was
a
there
cop
an
show?
actual bear?
I think he was. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
Give it a Google.
Yeah,
But I've heard of this.
me too.
I think BJ was a drug dealer, and the bear is like a cop. I remember Jake and the Fat Man. That's something
Yes.
else. That you couldn't say now.
No.
It'd be Jake and the plus-sized, big is beautiful.
BJ and the Bear is an American comedy series which aired on NBC from 1979 to 1981. Well, this doesn't say what it's about.
Come on.
Come on, Wikipedia. Deliver. Premise and storylines.
Here we go.
Greg Evigan stars as Billy Joe B.J. McKay, a professional freelance itinerant trucker.
That was way
Professional
off.
freelance itinerant trucker. So what is that? So that means he just trucks where he wants when he wants, and he's always on the go. Who travels the country's highways in a red and white. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. In his red and white Kenworth K100 Aerodyne with his pet chimpanzee Bear.
Oh, look at
named
that.
after Bear Bryant, the famed football coach for the University of Alabama.
Wow.
In the pilot movie, it is stated that he had spent 2 years in Vietnam as a medical helicopter pilot, had been a captain, and earned a Distinguished Service Cross. He was a prisoner of war, blah, 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 blah. Episodes typically deal with BJ uncovering or getting mixed up with crime in the area he's traveling through, and a local resident, usually a young, beautiful woman, appealing to him for help.
All right. See, why couldn't we have been pitching shows in the late 70s?
I know.
I would get kicked in the balls if I pitched that at Netflix. The guy's got a pet monkey. Well, hold on, he's a trucker.
But he doesn't work for a company.
He's itinerant.
He's freelance.
Yeah. So they would just go, get the hell out of here.
I wonder if, 3 episodes they're like, why did we fucking choose a chimpanzee?
Yeah.
Because that can't be easy production-wise.
Well, monkeys were hot in the late 70s. They had that Clint Eastwood movie, Any Which Way But Loose. Mm-hmm. There was another thing, I think. I think monkeys were big for 10 minutes.
Dunstan checks in or something.
That was later, but yeah.
Remember on Friends, a show that you and I were talking about before we started? Yeah. Who got written off the show because apparently working with Maurice was too difficult.
There you go. Yeah, ask Michael Jackson about that. It's brutal working with monkeys. He had bubbles.
Yeah, I remember. Okay.
Also, they shot one into space, I believe, a monkey.
Oh, did they?
I think they did. Also, there was Coco, the sign language monkey. See,
Yes.
monkeys were hot for a minute.
Coco was a gorilla.
Okay.
See, speaking of Michael Jackson jokes, there was a blowing bubbles.
Yes!
joke. Remember that one?
That's right. And there was also a kids' underwear half off joke. Then he went and bought some because he thought they were half off.
Yeah, right.
Good
there was
times.
also... I really shouldn't tell any jokes.
Yeah, you see? What a world we're living in. You can't tell a joke because you're scared. That sucks. We've ruined everything.
Well, I'll just tell the straight line.
All right. Well, hey,
unless-
heterosexual. All right.
It was, why does Michael Jackson like 24-year-olds?
Oh, because there's 24-year-olds.
Because there's 20 of them.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But see, and
That's fun. I mean, it's a
I
joke.
think it's funny because it's wordplay.
Yes.
It is not...
It's
I mean,
clever.
yes. I'm not going to sit here and say it has nothing to do with pedophilia. Of course it does, because he was accused of that. But at the same time, the thing that makes the joke funny is the wordplay.
Yes.
To me.
Of course. He's just the subject we're using.
Right.
He's the content.
Right.
So
it's
not...
a joke about language.
There you go. But we got to dissect everything. God, I hate it. It sucks for comedy. Comedy used to be this fringe weirdo thing, and now it's like, I don't know. We got to dust it off and see what's what. And that's a bummer. I hate the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
But I'm
Do
still
you feel that your comedy gets put under it?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, everybody's does. If it's out there, if it's on the internet, it's going to get dissected. And, dissect away, but I'm still going to do my act.
Bruised by Dawn says, the blades in the old school blender are my enemy. I wind up stabbing myself too often when washing it. And I'm a clumsy person, but I've thankfully never stabbed myself on a blender. I don't use blenders that often.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't frequently blend.
I bought a Ninja, spent a good
What
amount
is that?
It's like a killer blender. It can mulch a brick. That's like their big thing. It's a Ninja.
Really? How have I missed? Is there a commercial where they do that?
Yeah.
How have I missed this?
I know. It's a sexy commercial. And I bought one. I was like, I'm going to juice. I'm going to smooth. I'm a big smoothie douche. And I bought all the stuff, the frozen cherries and raspberries and the avocado and the peanut butter and the mix and all that. And it's a bitch to clean. So you make a big batch of smoothies, and now you're forcing yourself down to make smoothies, and you got like 18 pears at your house that start going brown, and I just gave up.
What is your favorite kind of smoothie?
I like a good kale, spinach, blueberry, banana, peanut butter.
How much do you taste the peanut butter?
Oh, it hits it.
Okay.
It's like gentrification. It takes over.
Ed Morris says, I get a great sense of accomplishment when I can get the old little pieces of soap to stick to the new bar of soap. Just me or everyone.
Same here.
Yeah, but it's very hard too.
It's tough.
And I feel so wasteful when I throw away the
sliver.
There's still good soap in there.
Of course.
But I can't, that doesn't work for me. I don't enjoy, it's fucking up my showering.
Yeah, I feel guilty. I'm a big not waster. I got to use it. I'll just put it in my armpit for 10 minutes trying to get one little bubble. It's hard, it doesn't
lather.
No, it doesn't lather. And you're just rubbing skin. It's your hand on skin. But you got to do it.
But if you can get it to stick to the old soap, that is exciting.
That's a victory.
I feel like there's probably a lot of YouTube videos about how to do it. Like I bet if you score the soap or heat it or I don't know. It's something you do in the shower.
Wasting time here.
Yeah. Dave Cross, no, not that one, says, how old, and I think we've already done this one, but I bring it up again because I care about it. How old do you think I am should be universally banned as a response to that question.
Oh, that's brutal. I'm with him.
But I like to know.
Well, you're in the minority, I think.
No, I mean, I like to be able to ask.
I see.
Yeah. No, I don't like being asked it because that's always a minefield.
Well, where do you stand on the whole, you never ask a woman her age? That I grew up with that. My mom would always say that to me.
Right.
But is that feminine? My mom's like a big feminist, but I don't know. Shouldn't a woman be fine with her age? It's there's a lot of which one is it?
It's weird. It's weird because I revolt against the idea that there's a problem with saying your age, and yet I find myself using euphemisms for my age. I will, sometimes I'll just blurt it out. I'm 43. I just said it, but I always feel some sort of weird charge from saying, I don't want to say it. I don't know.
I get that. Yeah, I mean, death is imminent, and it's going to happen, and youth is very glorified right now.
Right. And I think also if you're someone that can pass for younger, because I get people who are surprised at how old I am a lot. And and I know tons of people in Hollywood who lie about their age.
Oh, really?
But I feel like if I was going to do that, I should have started a long time ago.
Yeah. Also, it's on the internet anyway.
Right.
So they're going to bust you.
How old are you?
I'm 35, but I have a thing for MILFs. So I would always want a woman to tell me the truth, but a lot of them would lie.
Sunlit Cactus says, right after I shower, it looks like a young woman was brutally murdered in there.
What?
I'm assuming she means all the hair.
Oh, I thought that was a menstruation bit.
No, I know. It seems like that, but I don't think that's what she means.
Well, why would I guess hair?
Long hair can just get stuck. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Sunlit Cactus, we're going to need more details.
Yeah. Why would a bunch of hair, you wouldn't think of murder.
Right.
Huh. Yikes.
Yeah, because period is where my brain went too, but I doubt that's what she means.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. And this is the last one. Leela Rolling Stone says, greatest compliment I have ever received was a few minutes ago when not one but two different employees at my coffee spot went bananas over my nails, the color, the length, and shape, the quality, the fact that they're my real nails. Best feeling ever.
Wow, this woman has a low bar for compliments.
I had my nails were done glittery, and it was like a surprising conversation starter, and I got a lot of compliments, and it was a nice little, it put a little pep in my step.
All right.
Yeah. Have you ever complimented a woman's nails?
I have, yeah.
You have?
But only because I couldn't find anything else. So if a guy compliments your nails, maybe it's not great. But I just see a woman, anything a woman puts a little time into, I'll try to compliment just to like show like I noticed that thing. You know?
That feels on the spectrum because you're like, this is how a human does it.
There you go.
My hunch though is that Leela's those compliments were from women.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll notice a girl with crazy nails, and I'll always, yeah, good nails, just to try to say, yeah,
appease her.
I caught it, yeah.
Yeah.
But no guy gives a shit about nails, I don't think.
I remember dating this guy and thinking to myself, no guy gives a shit about nails. So I don't care that my manicure is chipping off and that my nails aren't, all good looking. And then we were at a party and having one of those like early dating flirtatious conversations. And I honestly don't remember how this came up, but I just remember him saying that like a woman's hands are like one of his favorite parts of a woman,
boy.
and like picking up my chipped, like not neatly manicured hand and looking at it, maybe being like, God damn it, what are the chances?
Did he say anything specifically about the
No,
nails?
he didn't.
All right.
He didn't.
He
but-
probably liked you got a nice hand. He probably caught the hand.
Well, thanks. My manicure is chipping off as we're talking,
I
but
didn't
it was
notice.
worse than that in college.
Okay. Well, I think I dated a lot of arts. I like an artsy lady, and they would always have kooky, fucked up nails, and that almost made her more legit to me.
So like an artsy MILF is your thing?
Well, that's a tough one because that artsy MILF just means like
older
finger paintings, and
right?
shit. But yeah, in high school and college, I was like a skateboarder, grungy kid, so I felt like I meshed well with like a weirdo kind of artsy fartsy girl. Mm-hmm. But yeah, MILF is like my porn category.
I feel like I just got a lot of information that I didn't.
Oh, sorry. Too much.
It's okay. It's okay. There's no such thing as too much on this show.
I agree. What's your porn go-to?
I honestly don't have one. I feel like I should. I feel like porn is a whole, like I really haven't seen that much of it. And I feel like it's a whole, someday I'm really going to dig in. There's just a whole world out there for me.
If you don't want it, but there's really, much like the internet, they find a way. It's like a podcast. You find your genre.
That's my understanding.
Because there's a whole new world out there. I mean, porn has really hit another zenith. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay. So, give it a look-see.
I mean, my mind is going nuts.
There's
because
something for you.
Yeah. I'm sure there is.
But, have you heard of girlfriend porn?
No, what is that?
That's this new thing where the guy is, like, super sweet, and it's not just, like, aggressive dudes with sweaty, buff guys going to town. It's like, gotta do some hand-holding and tell them they look nice and all this shit.
I don't think that would be my thing.
I don't think so either. But who knows? Just saying,
Yeah.
there's options.
Right. Thank you. Mark Normand. Thank you so much for doing my show. Everyone go check out Tuesdays with Stories. Check out Don't Be Yourself.
I feel like that was a weird ending. Oh, God,
Still
I'm sorry.
got it. Find your porn.
There you go.
Like what color is your porn parachute? 'Cause
Find your inner porn.
That's right. Anything you want to tell them to look out for?
Hey, just be nice to each other and stop looking for offensive things and just enjoy shit. And if you get offended, bottle it. At the end of the day, when the dust settles, just keep it to yourself.
I have a book out, Tropical Attire, Encouraged, and Other Phrases That Scare Me. If you go to my website, AlisonRosen.com, there's plenty of places you can click where you can go get that book. And it is available in all formats. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe, iTunes.com/AlisonRosen. Leave us a nice review. 5 stars is my favorite. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. Mark, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm terrified I'll get in trouble for anything I said, but
a little bit I am too, but we'll just we'll weather it together.
Yeah. It's funny because people always go, ooh, they said something weird, and then they want to hear that, and then you get in trouble for it.
I know.
So, like, just enjoy that we got a little spicy.
That's right.
Trying to ruin our lives.
I agree with that. Amen. Okay. Bye, you guys. I love you. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Alison Rosen.